Hello friends, and welcome to a brand new camera comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra against its predecessor, the S24 Ultra. Right now, we are recording at 4K at 30 frames per second. Tell me in the comment section below which one do you think has better colors and which one has a better audio.
As is tradition in our channel, let's begin with some samples taken with their main cameras. But first, let me just clarify the testing process. Each daylight picture is taken in auto mode with only the scene optimizer enabled and no edits afterward. Since they are both made by the same company, they have more or less a similar processing style, but there are some differences, so let me break them down. As you can see in this sample, the S25 Ultra is showing a bit more pleasing to the eye's colors, while the older model has a greenish tint to it that I am not a fan of. The sky in the back and even the greenery looks more natural on the S25 Ultra. In other samples, such as this one, the new Ultra takes pictures with boosted saturation that looks great. The S24 Ultra looks good too, but it is a bit brighter than how it is supposed to look. Light colors of the buildings on the S24 Ultra appear kind of flat, while the S25 Ultra fixes this minor issue. Besides that, they look very similar, and I am pleased to see consistency between them. When it comes to shadow areas, I feel like the S24 Ultra is doing slightly better, but like I said in the previous case, it comes with a cost since bright areas appear brighter. The picture taken with the S25 Ultra, although a bit darker, seems to be much more pleasing for the eyes. Both phones are equipped with ultra-wide cameras, and here once again, I prefer the colors of the S25 Ultra. While the greenery appears more visible on the older model, I like the S25 Ultra a bit more. Perhaps you can see the difference in this next case, where the new model is much better. On the S24 Ultra, the sky is overexposed, and it doesn't look as good as on the S25 Ultra, which manages to perfectly expose the sky, the greenery, and the subject, which is me. The S25 Ultra has a new and improved ultra-wide camera, that's why it is performing better than its predecessor. But truth be told, in most samples, the difference isn't as noticeable, like here, for example, where both devices are performing great. The ultra-wide camera of the S24 Ultra was already my favorite one, and it is nice to see that the one found on its successor not only matches it but exceeds it in areas where the older one wasn't as good. For example, the pictures taken with the S25 Ultra are detailed, but they don't have the over-sharpening effect that I sometimes encountered on the S24 Ultra. Other improvements, as you saw earlier, are in the sky rendition. Now let's test their zoom capabilities. At 2x, both zoom in with their main cameras, and both are sharp with some minor differences in color. At 3x, they switch to their first telephoto sensors, and now the differences become a bit more pronounced. The S25 Ultra has vibrant colors, whereas the S24 Ultra seems to be a bit more on the flat side. Nevertheless, both pictures are good. At 5x, they take pictures with their periscope sensors, and in this particular case, it seems that the S24 Ultra is a bit brighter, but the S25 Ultra is just as good, just a bit darker. In terms of details, they seem to be identical. At 10x, both zoom in digitally, but to my eyes, it seems that the S25 Ultra is a tiny bit sharper. If you look closely under the text at the white part of the building, some of the details visible on the S25 Ultra aren't there on the older model. This is, however, a tiny difference, and both are doing just fine. Once again, at 2x, both pictures are great with plenty of details and superb dynamic range. The S24 Ultra is a bit brighter, while the S25 Ultra is slightly darker. At 3x, this time, I think the S24 Ultra actually took a better picture since the one taken with the new S25 looks a bit dull. At 5x, they are pretty much similar, but once again, to my eyes, the picture taken with the S24 Ultra appears a bit better. The results change when we zoom in at 10x. Now, just like earlier, the S25 Ultra is sharper and has better colors, while the image taken with the S24 Ultra is too flat. Both devices also take macro pictures, and as far as I can tell, the one taken with the S25 Ultra is not only sharper, but the entire leaf seems to be in focus. On the S24 Ultra, the edges of the same leaf are a bit blurry. Now let's take a look at some portrait shots. In this first sample, portraits taken with their main cameras are simply amazing. Even the S24 Ultra takes extraordinary portraits, but as always, there are areas where the new phone has improvements. In this particular case, my skin color is a bit more accurate on the newer device. Besides that, both are great. The same story continues even when we take portraits with their 3x sensors. Although the difference isn't as big, I do notice that my skin color continues to be better preserved on the S25. My facial features are better preserved on the new device as well. They do take portrait shots even at 5x, and now the only difference that I can see is around my hair, where the edge detection is better on the S25 Ultra. In terms of colors and details, they are both identical, and I am happy with these results. Although the S24 Ultra usually brightens my face a bit more, I like the fact that the S25 Ultra keeps my natural skin color and doesn't try to make me stand out as much as its predecessor. The background blur is a bit more aggressive on the older device, while it looks amazing on the new one. Similar to portraits, even when we take pictures using their front cameras, we have more or less similar results. On the S25 Ultra, my skin color is very accurate, while on the S24 Ultra, my face looks like it has a filter applied. This is a step in the right direction for Samsung. This wasn't a one-time scenario, as I kept getting these results over and over. Personally, I have always appreciated the fact that selfies taken with Samsung phones were sharp, but skin colors weren't always as accurate. This year, Samsung has made significant improvements in this category, and I am all in for it. When recording with their main cameras, both phones deliver exceptional results, showcasing vibrant colors and impressive stabilization. The S25 Ultra stands out with noticeable improvements in light color tones, which appear more natural and lifelike. In contrast, the S24 Ultra sometimes produces slightly washed-out tones that may not be as visually appealing. This subtle enhancement gives the S25 Ultra a slight edge in overall video quality. Videos captured using the ultrawide cameras are strikingly similar, though the S25 Ultra's output is marginally brighter. Despite this difference in brightness, both devices excel in areas like color accuracy, stabilization, and dynamic range, with only minor variations separating the two. These shared strengths make them nearly identical in ultrawide video performance. When recording with their telephoto cameras, a distinct difference in color temperature becomes evident. The S25 Ultra renders warmer and more vivid tones, while the S24 Ultra leans toward cooler, less saturated colors. Personal preference plays a key role here, as some users might prefer the vibrancy of the S25 Ultra, while others may favor the subtler tones of the S24 Ultra. At 5x zoom, as seen at 3x, the S25 Ultra continues to shine with its vibrant, attention-grabbing colors. Both phones offer reliable stabilization, ensuring smooth footage. However, the color rendition on the S25 Ultra feels more engaging and visually pleasing, making it a standout choice. The colors on the S24 Ultra, while consistent, come across as dull in comparison, which detracts slightly from the overall experience. Moving to low light, and from now on, every picture is taken with night mode enabled. In this sample, while both are doing fine, I noticed that the S25 Ultra is sharper, especially around my eyes. In other samples where light sources are plentiful, both devices deliver detailed pictures, but just like in daylight, the S25 Ultra does a better job with my skin color. My face looks pale on the S24 Ultra, while on the S25 Ultra, I look almost how I do in real life. When it comes to their main cameras, honestly, there isn't much to talk about besides the fact that both are simply fantastic. The S24 Ultra was already a top performer, and the S25 Ultra improves on it even further. In this sample, for example, the picture taken with the S24 Ultra looks great, but the one taken with the S25 Ultra looks better. Mainly because its picture is more detailed, and still, it doesn't look over-sharpened. There were cases, such as this one, where I didn't notice any difference at all, with both phones doing a fantastic job with my face, hair, and clothes. Even the background looks great on them, with all the light sources being in check. Sometimes, like here, the S24 Ultra was a bit brighter, but the light sources are also slightly more distracting. The picture taken with the S25 Ultra is darker, but it looks just as good. Even when taking pictures with their ultra-wide cameras, they continue to be similar to each other. At this particular place, there were plenty of light sources all around, so I am not surprised they look almost identical. In this other sample, I noticed that there are some differences. The S25 Ultra is brighter, which isn't really a big plus, since brighter doesn't always mean better. The new Ultra is also sharper, while the picture on the right is a bit softer. While the ultra-wide camera of the S25 Ultra is a bit improved, it doesn't make the experience much better, since the one found on the S24 Ultra was already great on its own. There were even cases when I preferred the results of the S24 Ultra, like here, for example, where I am more in focus in the right picture. The S25 Ultra is much more accurate, but I actually prefer the S24 Ultra. Let me know what you think. At 2x, the results are almost identical, with both phones producing great pictures that are full of details. The images look sharp, with vibrant colors and well-preserved textures. At 3x, the S25 Ultra does a great job keeping the details of my face intact, but the image appears to be a bit over-sharpened. On the other hand, the S24 Ultra seems a bit blurry, especially around my face and hair, which makes it less precise in comparison. We see a similar pattern at 5x as well, with the S25 Ultra perfectly preserving all the intricate details. The S24 Ultra, on the other hand, isn't as detailed and slightly overexposed my face, leading to a loss of some finer elements in the image. In this other sample, at 2x, once again, they are almost identical, with both pictures being excellent. The clarity and detail in both images are impressive, leaving very little to choose between them. The same story continues even at 3x. After looking at them side by side for quite some time, I didn't find any noticeable differences at all. The performance from both devices is virtually the same at this zoom level. This trend continues even at 5x. By now, I was expecting to see some noticeable differences, but I was actually surprised to see that they remain almost identical, with both phones handling the zoom remarkably well. At 10x, however, I am noticing that the S25 Ultra is much sharper compared to its predecessor. The picture taken with the S24 Ultra is brighter, but most of the details have been lost in the process. In contrast, the picture taken with the S25 Ultra is superior in quality, offering more clarity and a better overall result. With portraits at night, in this particular sample, I definitely preferred the new S25 Ultra. On the S24 Ultra, my face isn't as detailed, while on the S25 Ultra, my face is bright and sharp, and all my clothes are in focus too. In the next sample, the S24 Ultra makes a big recovery and looks just as good as the S25 Ultra. I actually like both samples, even though they have a different hue. At the end of the day, it all comes down to personal preference, and here I like the older model just a tiny bit more. So guys, what do you think? Are the improvements of the S25 Ultra worth it or not? Personally, I think that although there are some small improvements, the cameras alone shouldn't be a reason for you to upgrade. If you did enjoy this video, a thumbs up would be appreciated. Thank you for watching, and for more content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel.